Made famous by the Harry Potter franchise, the Jacobite steam train is on the bucket list for many people who visit Scotland, whether that be riding on the actual train or seeing it pass the now famous Glenfinnan Viaduct in the Scottish Highlands. In this video, we're going to focus on and tell you everything you need to know about how to see the Jacobite steam train cross the Glenfinnan Viaduct. Just for a bit of background, the Jacobite steam train is a tourist train service that runs from April to October and travels from Fort William to Mallaig and back the same day and is often called one of the greatest railway journeys in the world. Its most famous crossing is over the Glenfinnan Viaduct, a railway viaduct made up of 21 arches tucked into the hills and which overlooks the Glenfinnan Monument and Loch Shiel. Filming for the second and third Harry Potter movies took place here, propelling the train and viaduct to stardom.
All we need to do is catch up with the train.
We can't be far behind.
Do you hear that?
We must be getting close.
Hold on.
In this video, we're going to focus on getting to the viaduct by car, but you can get to the viaduct by public transportation as well. Our accompanying blog post, which you can find in the description below, has more information about those alternative options. We came to Glenfinnan Viaduct from Edinburgh, which takes approximately 3.5 hours by car. From Glasgow, it's approximately 3 hours by car. And if you're visiting Glenfinnan Viaduct as part of a bigger trip through the Scottish Highlands, which we definitely recommend, then your travel time should be much shorter. Usually, people stay in the nearest town of Fort William, which would make the viaduct approximately 30 minutes away by car. Let's get into a bit of detail now about exactly when you should head to the viaduct to spot the train. There's generally a morning service and an afternoon service, so 4 times per day that the train passes the viaduct. But we would advise only to see the train when it's heading to Mallaig, not when it's going back to Fort William, because the Mallaig direction is when you get the proper view of the train. Basically, when the train arrives at Mallaig, there isn't a place for the train to turn around, so they just plunk the head of the train to the back. This means that the train's head then runs kind of backwards on its way back to Fort William, so it looks a little bit odd. Of course, if you don't particularly care about the direction the train's head is facing, then feel free to catch the train in either direction. You'll want to get to the car park at Glenfinnan Viaduct at least 30 minutes before the approximate passing time to allow for parking, paying for your parking ticket, and walking to the viewpoint. If visiting during the peak of summer or on long weekends, aim to be there even earlier as there will likely be an influx of visitors. As of the making of this video, the general passing times for Mallaig-bound trains are 10:55 a.m. and 1:25 p.m. and for Fort William-bound trains, the passing times are generally 3 p.m. and 5:45 p.m. Before visiting, do visit the West Coast Railway's website, which we've linked in the description below, to double-check the train timetable in case it has changed. Generally speaking, the trains reach the viaduct about 40 to 45 minutes after departure in both directions. Since we first visited over 5 years ago, this area has changed quite a bit. The car park has expanded, parking is now paid, and a trail has been made to get to the preferred viewpoint. At the time of this video, parking costs £3.50 for cars and £6 for minibuses and motorhomes. The best viewpoint for Mallaig-bound trains is when you're facing the viaduct, which is right behind me, up to the left, where you'll get a nice view of the curve of the viaduct and the train will be coming towards you. Let's find our viewing spot now. One thing to note is to just remember not to do anything silly and dangerous like jumping onto or walking on the railway tracks. It's illegal and you could face a fine. Just follow the paths and enjoy the view and scenery. The train usually starts chewing as it gets closer to the viaduct, and the steam should start puffing as it starts to pass over the viaduct. Make sure to give everyone riding in the train a big wave. There are 3 important things that we would suggest everyone visiting Glenfinnan Viaduct to see the Jacobite steam train to bring. 1. Good quality walking shoes, since there is a bit of walking involved when going to the viewpoint, including some incline, and it is usually quite mucky. 2. Weather appropriate clothing, as there is no protection from the elements at the viewpoint. And 3, of course, your camera. And we have some top tips for seeing the Jacobite cross Glenfinnan Viaduct. We always find that the earlier you go to something, the quieter it will be, so we would suggest going for the morning service instead of the afternoon service. There will still likely be lots of people, but probably not as many as in the afternoon. Next, use the toilet before you visit, as there are no facilities at the viewpoint. The closest facilities are at the Glenfinnan Visitor Centre. And lastly, as there are no facilities at the viewpoint, be sure to bring your own water and snacks, especially if it will be a hot day. It is a magical experience to witness the Jacobite steam train passing over Glenfinnan Viaduct, and we hope you get to experience this for yourself. If you'd like more information about the Jacobite steam train, Glenfinnan Viaduct, or riding the train, you can find all that and more in our accompanying blog post, which you'll find in the description below. We hope you enjoyed coming to Glenfinnan Viaduct with us today. Please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and comment below on whether or not you've seen the Jacobite steam train in person yet, and we'll see you in the next video. What, the stupid bird sound?
The killing pig or something.
Oh, it's from the speaker. It's like, I'm so lonely.